Every day at 4 p.m., I made sure out in the front of the courthouse.
You made sure what?
In front of the courthouse.
Read that sentence again.
I made sure I was out in front of the courthouse so I could see these guys walk out to the van. I could not see it. I never see anything like it. It was like a car crash where you don't want to look. You know you're not supposed to, but you keep doing it anyway. I'd sit under the same tree every day.
Speak
each
clearly.
day, waiting and watching. If I missed it, I'd be angry with myself. It was like it was like going to the movies every day. It wasn't the first time that kind of fascination surfaced for me. Back in the day, every neighborhood had the guy. You go someplace and people knew him by name. And that name carried a reputation. He was the guy that represented...
Pause at punctuation.
Okay, he was the guy that represented that section of town. Our guy was a kid named Dominic Williams. He was 5 years older than us, and to see Dominic in the neighborhood was a big thing. We'd catch a glimpse of him riding on his dirt bike or driving in a stolen car. We'd all be excited and proud, telling everyone we'd seen Dominic that day. Dominic didn't know us from Adam, never spoke to us, never had a conversation with us. Still, he was our default big brother. We knew who he was, and that when his name was spoken, it meant something. He was eventually arrested for murder and sent to prison. At 12 years old...
That doesn't affect you?
It does.
You just reading it like...
At 12 years old, my boys and I would sit around. Sometimes you'd be looking at documentaries about killing. Y'all just... But yeah, if it's a horror movie, you...
Okay. I'll take that. Watch your tone next time, though. But next time you check me, watch your tone. But I'll take that. All right. So this boy, he was go ahead. He was eventually arrested for murder.
For murder and sent to prison. At 12 years old, my boys and I would sit around and talk about what Dominic might be doing that day, what life was like for him locked up. Already at that young age, we're already talking about prison. It's a part of my vocabulary. It's in my subconscious mind, a planted seed. Dominic made it glamorous. We looked up to him, so it only made sense that we would look at prison as some kind of accomplishment. Not even teenagers were hanging around a mailbox.
Nope. Do that part again. Not even teenagers. Pay attention. Punctuation makes the difference in a sentence.
Not even teenagers. We are hanging around a mailbox, talking about a man in maximum security prison for killing another human being like he's someone to look up to.
Now imagine that. They're your age, and instead of talking about Legos like you and anime, they talking about what?
Prison. With no father in the picture, I had no one to tell me differently. Quitting creates a law of attraction. Everything around you is going to quit. Going to fold in and fold up. If you're not trying, nothing around is going to work. If you're not believing,
I need you to speak clearly.
No opportunities will open up around you. Your world starts caving in. When my father finally made me tap out on life, everything went black. I faded away like a ghost for the next 4 years of high school. I hurt almost everyone I came in contact with. The lesson that I learned from my father about it being alright to hit people had turned into something more sinister. I would no longer hit only to protect myself. I would dominate everyone in my path. My whole attitude scaled up to a point where it was out of control. The problem there is that out of control has a fan base. It has a space. Go to the bar and drink 3 kegs worth of beer. People will cheer for you and wait and hope for you to come back tomorrow. When you do, not only will they cheer you on again, but they'll buy you drinks. You're doing the most destructive thing possible for yourself, and they want to see you do more.
Read that part again.
you're doing the most destructive thing possible for yourself, and they want to see you do more. You keep sinking and finding new ways to F up, new ways to get yourself in trouble, and new ways not to succeed. And the crowd will urge you to keep going in that direction.
Okay, pause. That's why we say what association brings about assimilation, and be careful who you hang around. Because even when you're doing something bad, there will be some people that cheer you on when you're doing something bad. Okay? We're not just reading for fun. We're reading because this book has life lessons that I want you to, maybe you'll learn them coming from hearing from another person.
Winners find a way while losers
do you understand what I'm saying? How you answered me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Losers will find every reason and excuse not to succeed. It's only by accident that losers get older. They don't grow, they just age as a matter of natural progression. My father was supposed to be my light post. When he gave up on me, when he quit, my world crumbled, piece by piece. Whether he didn't know or he just didn't care, his presence mattered. When he took it away, it created an atmosphere of chaos and taught me that the only person I had to look out for was me. Instead of working with my siblings to make life better for us, we did nothing but fight. My brother and I would come home from school to find there would be no food. It was a toss-up as to who, if anyone, would eat that day. I'd go to the kitchen, and if I was lucky, I'd find some cereal and grab it. Then I'd go to the refrigerator only to see that there was no milk. Come to find my brother Anthony's closet. Instead of sharing, we bartered for what the other had. Otherwise, no one was getting anything. Whoever got home first snatched whatever food there was and hid it in their room or in other places throughout the house. If you didn't, it was likely you didn't eat. There is no becoming a healthy, positive person. Becoming a healthy, positive person within every man for himself mentality. It's just not possible. We had no one to step into the role of a leader, to say that everyone would eat, that no one had to hide in order to eat a meal. That should have been my father, but it wasn't. Dad was supposed to be the moral guy who showed up, who did
the moral guy.
The moral guy who showed up, who did right by us and helped out wherever he could, however he could. Instead, when he was there, he was a bully. Bullies only agitate and annoy people rather than interrogate and ingratiate themselves to them. All his actions did was drive me away from him, drove me to do the opposite of what it was I had the potential to do. A different path. Once I quit the trumpet.
Now tomorrow, I want you to look up the word ingratiate, because that was the first time you've seen it. Now you could probably tell from the sentence what it was, but tomorrow, I want you to look it up.
Okay. Once I quit the trumpet, I continued to decline. I did a whole bunch of nothing for the 4 remaining years of high school. I was in the streets more than I was in school. I had no purpose. I developed the mentality that life didn't matter, that I didn't matter, and so nothing mattered. I was going to dominate whatever space I was in, and I didn't have to explain or justify anything or anyone. Teachers continue anything to anyone. Teachers continue to try to help me, to pull me through. Same with counselors, whoever they could throw at me. Mr. Duval, my 9th grade teacher, saw that I was gifted and tried to teach me leadership. He saw that early on I was a good influence on other students. He put me in a program to develop my potential. I rock climbed and taught others how to do it as part of his leadership training. And I was good at it. But as with everything else, after too long, I just quit. I'd show up to class whenever I felt like it, sometimes with a friend and his boombox in tow.
Do you know what a boombox is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My friend wasn't even a student in the class, but I did what I wanted, so I brought him with me, regardless.
Can you imagine taking somebody to your school who wasn't even in class?
Mm-hmm.
You can?
Mm-hmm. Because it says it right there. I couldn't imagine that. I recall.
No, you cannot. I can't even get past the front office. What are you talking about?
I can, I can imagine what it would be like.
Oh.
I recall clearly one day when
I did ask you if you can you imagine.
Mm-hmm. You didn't say imagine me having to fully bring him there and be like, oh, come on, like giving him a tour and everything. I recall clearly one day when one of the teachers wasn't having it, so she told us to get out. No skin off our nose, so we roamed the hallways, radio playing. Security stopped us in the hall. Dre, you have to get out of the hallway. The superintendent is coming. Though we didn't know the super, we knew that no one was having any of my bull S-word on the days he came to visit. Nobody was tolerating anything because the boss was coming. He told us to go to the gym, but the gangs that ran our neighborhood ran that gym. We had a big butt radio and no gun to stop them from trying to take it from us. Can't go to the gym, dude, I told the security guard. He told us to head to the auditorium, that there was some kind of meeting for students there, so just go sit in.
The words are slurring a little bit, so let's do better on that.
The back and be quiet.
Go sit in the back and be quiet.
Go sit in the back and be quiet. He wasn't supposed to let anyone in there, but he had to put us somewhere. We listened and planted ourselves in the back of the auditorium. There was a black man in a bow tie up front telling the students about an opportunity for them to go to Italy and China, to Sweden and France, to London. They can travel the world. Of course, I didn't buy a word of it. I stood up and said, yo, this is some bulls. What do you mean, he asked me. You got kids up there with you that don't even go to this school. Talking about you going to send us somewhere. You ain't sending nobody nowhere. You full of poop. Instead of backing down, the man in the bow tie said, don't talk from back there. Come talk down here. My friend laughed at me having been called out. Having been called out. I wasn't going to be punked, so I made my way down to the front. It was the first step towards what would be my best and last chance to deviate from the path I was on, and I blew it. Doubling down.
You good to keep going?
Hello,
You okay? We'll save this for tomorrow. You did a good job.
Thank you.
But let me tell you right now, there were some words. It's very important that you read.
Wait, is this?
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. I want you to understand this. Because guess what? There's somebody who need... Every single day I deal with adults. And because they read what they want to read instead of what's on the paper, misunderstandings happen. So when I'm not trying to be hard on you, but I need you to know you cannot just skip over words and say words that are not there. You have to read what is on the paper because it could really make a huge difference in your understanding. Do you hear me? If you don't follow instructions because you didn't read the instructions properly, a lot of times you don't get a chance to do it over again. And your mama not going to be there to tell you to read it again. You're just going to automatically be disqualified and counted out. And sometimes that can cost you money. Sometimes that can cost you time. Sometimes that can cost you so much more. It's not worth it. So you just take your time and you read what is there. Okay? And your voice is powerful. So if you slur your words, then your brain hears that you don't really care about what you're reading. And your brain on a subconscious level will not care about it either. Do you understand me? So you're doing a good job. As a matter of fact, somebody said, oh, that's my girl, Cheney, I emailed you. And I wasn't here. She said, this is absolutely awesome.